Jai Sriman Narayan. Jai Sriman Narayan. Jai Sriman Narayan. I pay my obeisances to my spiritual master, Srimad Jagat Guru Sudarshan Acharyaji Maharaj. I pay my obeisances to Lord Sri Ramanuj. I pay my obeisances to the Purva Acharyas. I pay my obeisances to Mother Lakshmi. I pay my obeisances to the 12 Alvars. And I pay my obeisances to Lord Sriman Narayan. I want to welcome all of you present here at the Sri Narayan Dham in Durban, South Africa. I want to welcome those that's watching this discourse locally, nationally and internationally. And I want to welcome those that's going to be watching this discourse when it is posted on YouTube and the various groups subsequently. In this marathon satsang, I think we have reached midpoint, or I think midpoint was yesterday. And in 2 weeks' time, on the 27th of May, this month of Ramanujans would be concluded. This is a first in this, the 28th KALIYUG, where a Sri Sampradaya ASHRAM has dedicated an entire month celebrating the Sri Sampradaya, the Lord Sri Ramanuj and Swami Sudarshan Acharyaji Maharaj, my Guru, in this way. And we hope to continue in this fashion as long as the Sri Narayan Dham exists. In doing so, and the main reason including that of celebrating the great Supreme Lord, Mother Lakshmi, Lord Sri Ramanuj, the Alvars, and all the Acharyas connected in this absolute stream of spirituality, is to compile information of Vedanta through discourses and have them stored for easy retrieval in this age of information technology. And I declared earlier on, and I'm also declaring now, that when I was looking specifically for teachings of Sri Vaishnavism from the Sri Sampradaya and the philosophy that Lord Sri Ramanuj expounded, I could not get this information from the Sampradaya itself. There was recorded information on the internet, mostly by Western historians. The Sri Sampradaya is spiritual. The Vedas and the essence of the Vedas is spiritual, and it needs to be stored by a spiritualist and not by historians on Wikipedia and Google. try as I might a few years ago, I could not find adequate information in the English language. I'm sure there are, or there could have been information that I sought, either in Hindi or Telugu or Sanskrit, but for us in the Western world who desire to know and understand the Sri Sampradaya, it was very, very difficult to retrieve any information. However, I did find information on Dvaita and Advaita in English. And it was then that I was informed from within by my spiritual master that this void must be fulfilled. And as I've stated earlier, when I cannot get enough information to deliver in a discourse, I do not willy-nilly sit here on this Vyasasana and find information on the internet or unverified information from my spiritual master and just do a discourse. And I found a way to plead to my Sampradaya to send me relevant information so that when I store it, it's absolute. And I've stated yesterday that my task is absolutely difficult, for I do not have information in Sanskrit. Although it is available, I do not understand Sanskrit, neither do I understand Tamil, neither do I understand Hindi, neither do I understand Urdu. And most of the information on the Vedas are in one of these four or more, or all of these four languages. We also stated that this system is absolute. The Vedas cannot be researched and spewed out. It has to be revealed and then expounded. That information that is not on hand is revealed to me by my Guru and the Sri Sampradaya, and more often than not, literature will come to me from sources incidentally. I would not use it or I'd not see it valuable, but when I'm in a particular topic, then more often than not, I would find the right book among the chaos of books in my kutir, and I would open to the right chapter and the right page. And this is absolute Sri Vaishnavism. What is Vaishnavism? What are the categories of people that belong or are authorized to belong in Vaishnavism, and what is the behavior character and characteristics of those who belong to Vaishnavas. In a nutshell, Vaishnavism is a system wherein, as per all authorized scriptures, that includes the Bhagavad Gita, the Vedanta Sutras, and the four Vedas, together with the Itihasas, namely the Ramayana and the Mahabharata, and the Puranas in Satyagun, and the Pancharatra Agamas, all proclaim that the Supreme Lord is Lord Sriman Narayan. And those that adhere to this declaration in devotion are called Vaishnavas. In Vaishnavism, there are 4 universities of this spiritual science and knowledge thereof. The principal university of Sri Vaishnavism or Vaishnavism is called Sri Vaishnavism, Sri standing for Mother Lakshmi. Lord Sriman Narayan has a consort, eternal consort, called Mother Lakshmi. So in the spiritual hierarchy, the university of Mother Lakshmi will be the highest or principal. The second university is called the Brahma Sampradaya. The third university is called the Kumaras Sampradaya, and the Kumaras are the mind-born sons of Lord Brahma. And the Rudra Sampradaya, which belongs to Lord Shiva or Rudra, who also took his birth from Lord Brahma. And Lord Brahma took his birth from the lotus that was on the navel of Lord Sriman Narayan. So, logic would reflect that the Sri Sampradaya, in terms of spiritual hierarchy, is the principal Sampradaya, and the other 3 Sampradayas are subordinate to the Sri Sampradaya. In all of these Sampradayas, Lord Sriman Narayan is declared as the Supreme Lord, as per hundreds of thousands of verses in the Vedas. So that is Vaishnavism. Sri Vaishnavism is headed by Mother Lakshmi up until 1,000 years ago, where she handed over the Sampradaya to Lord Sri Ramanuj. What are the categories of devotees that qualify to be called Vaishnavas? How do you become? In what category of life do you fall? anyone who is in, like Vishishtadvaita Ramanujans to write this in capital letters. Anyone who is in, and he can start his capital letters, financial distress. Financial distress. Capital letters, underline. Who is either psychologically or biologically incapacitated and seeks the assistance of the Supreme Lord, Lord Sriman Narayan, and I'd like him to underline in capital, medical or psychological illness, who surrenders to the Supreme Lord for assistance, is a Vaishnavite. Third category is anyone who is inquisitive for spiritual knowledge of Vedanta. Anyone who is inquisitive of spiritual knowledge through Vedanta qualifies to be a Vaishnavite. And the last category is anyone who desires salvation or moksha. Anyone who desires salvation or moksha or liberation, who wants to end this miserable birth and death of material bodies, and who surrenders to Lord Sriman Narayan in this regard, is called a Vaishnava. Then there is a particular restriction to those that are Vaishnavas. No meat eating, no alcohol or substance abuse or smoking, no illicit sex, and no gambling. These are the initial 4 requirements that has to be stringently enforced by the participant who wants to be a Vaishnavite. So this is Vaishnavism. In the Sri Vaishnavism stream of spiritual preceptors and saints and sages, we note the Alvars, who have started or re-established in this KALIYUG Vaishnavism as a whole, and Sri Vaishnavism in particular. And we pay our deepest of obeisances first three Alvars. And as I've stated, it is difficult for me to sit and corroborate knowledge just from the tip of my finger. So I want to explain, because this is in contention between historians and our Purva Acharyas in the Sri Sampradaya. So I'm going to give you dates of birth of the three Alvars that I've discussed already, and I want to pay obeisance to them, just as Sri Manavala Mahamuni, who I've explained in the beginning of this marathon satsang, was the fifth incarnation of Adi Shesha, or an incarnation of Lord Sri Ramanuj. In his writings would be the absolute and correct information regarding the 12 Alvars, and not historians. So I'm taking these verses and I'm going to read. The first verse. Verse number 1 is, and I quote, I worship Sriman Narayana, who is ever determined to establish the genuine truth of Vedanta on earth, and who shines in the midst of liberated souls and worthy preceptors. Then I take, verse 2, I take refuge in Saro Yogi, who was born of a golden lotus in the month of Asvina, bracket, October, November, close brackets, under the influence of the asterism Sravana, open brackets, 22nd stellar mansion, 22nd stellar, STELLAR, mansion, MANSION, close brackets. In the Dwapara Yuga, in the city of Kanchipur, who is the incarnation of Pancha Janya, the conch of Sriman Narayan. Verse verse 2, he is Poge Alvar. Verse 3, Bhuta Alvar, I adore Saint Bhuta, who was born in the month of Ashvina, open brackets, October, November, close brackets, under the influence of the asterism Sravista, close open brackets, 23rd stellar mansion, close brackets, from within the blooming water lily as the incarnation of the mace. At Malapuri, Mallapuri, situated on the seashore. And lastly, Pe Alvar, verse 4, him I adore, comma, that celebrated Mahatma, comma, who was born out of a water lily blossoming within a well in Mayurapuri, Mayurapuri, comma, in the month of Ashvina, open brackets, October, November, close brackets, under the influence of the asterism Satabdisak, open brackets, 24th stellar mansion, close brackets, as an incarnation of the sword of Lord Sriman Narayan. So, praising our previous Acharyas through the stream of Sri Vaishnavism and reaching Lord Sriman Narayan is a spiritual experience on its own. I want to conclude my discourse on a discussion that Swami Vishishtadvaita, Ramanujans and myself were having, I think, about 2 hours ago, where there is a lot of confusion in understanding how to detach from desires. And I found this very appropriate because as we torpedo into KALIYUG, the desires become more and God and self-realization becomes more obscured. Because desire obscures God. The obscurity to God is simply desire, and desire translates into karma, and karma binds you from one material body to the next. So if we undo desire, then we undo all of the chain reactions that lands us in bondage. Very easily said. How do we practice this undoing of desire? We can practice it And this is the reason Lord Sriman Narayan sent his 12 supreme devotees, and he incarnated through them so that he can assist in the ignorant, sodden mind of human how to dissipate that ignorance in the mind of man and remove oneself from the clutches of desire. And it is done through devotion, and devotion is bhakti. And practically it is done like this. Take all the desires that you have and convert it into desire for the Supreme Lord through your spiritual master, who is the transparent medium between you and the Supreme Lord. Whatever desire that you have, repose that desire through your spiritual master to the Supreme Lord. If you desire to be a multi-millionaire, that effort of desire that you have to become a multi-millionaire, use that effort in desiring the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Lord Sriman Narayan. If you have a desire for a Ferrari, repose that desire to the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Lord Sriman Narayan. Desire Lord Sriman Narayan more than the Ferrari. Desire Lord Sriman Narayan more than that desire for a multi-million dollar. And similarly, whatever desire you have, place it at the feet of Lord Sriman Narayan and desire Lord Sriman Narayan more. And when you desire Lord Sriman Narayan more than any materialistic desire that you have in or within yourself, then your desires are cut asunder. And it is Lord Sriman Narayan who will, as per his desire, depending on your 100% so total commitment, he will maintain and flow your life. And as I've stated to Swami Vishishtadvaita that both when Lord Ram was on our planet Earth and when Lord Sri Krishna descended on our planet Earth, both of them incarnations of Lord Sriman Narayan, there was opulent cities and there were kings ruling countries and kingdoms. These kings lived in absolute opulence. They had the best of meals. But those that followed Sanatana Dharma, they were not attached to the opulence, although they were saturated in opulence. Their devotion and love for Lord Sriman Narayan was more than the opulence that they had within their command. So it is scientific and it is simple. If you love the Creator more than His creation, then why can't a part of His creation be endowed to you? If you love a part of His creation more than Him, then where is the logic? And it all comes down to, if your father owns 1,000 acres of potatoes, why are you asking him for one bag of potatoes? Leave it to him. Your father knows how much to give you. Jai Sriman